Nintendo. Gumshoe. Gumshoe, like Duck Hunt, is a light gun game for the NES. It was developed and published by Nintendo and released in 1986 in North America and in 1988 in Europe. I guess Japan was lucky enough not to get it. It was designed by Yoshio Sakamoto. In the game, you are Mr. Stevenson, and you are an FBI agent who is continually walking to the right. You control his jumping with the zapper gun and also shoot enemies and obstacles the same way. You collect ammo by grabbing red balloons. Duck Hunt was originally some fun, but it was a novelty for me and I never played any other zapper gun games that made any impression. This game is a little more interesting than Duck Hunt, and for a zapper game, I'd give it a fair, I guess. Nintendo. Mach Rider is a vehicular combat racing video game developed by HAL Laboratory and published by Nintendo. It was first released for the Famicom in Japan in 1985 and for the NES Nintendo Entertainment System in North America in 1986 and for the PAL region in 1987. It was released on the Virtual Console for the Wii 2007, Nintendo 3DS 2013, and the Wii U 2014. The Japanese Famicom release can use the Famicom Data Recorder to save custom tracks. The feature was missing from the American and European releases, but was retained in all versions of the Virtual Console release except the 3DS version. A catchy tune, but it becomes repetitive quick. I can see where some would like this game. I'm not one for racers that much and was never good at the quick reflexes to dodge things, and would never reach the goal in the allotted time. It has a couple modes, battle, endurance, and solo mode, so a little variety, but it's all kinda still the same game. If you invest some time and get good, I'm sure you would get your money's worth out of the game, but for me, I'm gonna be generous and give it a fair, just not my cup of tea. Urban Champion is a two-player fighting game produced by Nintendo and released in 1984 for the Famicom console and Nintendo Verse system for arcades, and later re-released for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was inspired by the 1984 Game & Watch game Boxing, also known as Punch-Out! It is Nintendo's first 2D fighting game, eventually followed in 1993 by Joy Mech Fight, released exclusively in Japan for the Famicom. The objective is to knock the other player into a sewer manhole. There is a 99-second time limit, and the player has a set limit of stamina, 200 hit points. The player has two types of attacks, a light punch and a heavy punch. The light punch is weaker but faster and harder to block, while the heavy punch is stronger but takes longer to pull off. It is also more easily telegraphed and thus easier to block. Most reviews were not too kind for the game, and it is easy to see why. It is slow and clunky fighter. Still, I did play this game some back in the late 80s, early 90s with my brother, and as a two-player game, there is some fun to be had. Heck, replaying it by myself, I had a little fun with the game. It is a good early game that aged quickly, and I am going to give it a fair.